The COVID-19 outbreak has disrupted global economic growth, including Malaysia. In response to the outbreak, the government implemented the movement control order to curb the spread of disease and protect the people. However, the measure has constrained the daily activities of the people and businesses, thus affecting their income. To mitigate the impact of COVID-19 and the MCO, the government is actively pursuing economic recovery efforts for the well-being of people through various national economic stimulus packages such as Prihatin SME Plus, Penjana, and Kita Prihatin. Now, let me introduce some tax measures and related stimulus package introduced by the government to release the burden of the businesses. From business income tax aspect, companies are able to revise their tax estimate in the month of their third installment if it is fall within the year 2020. This measure will help to ease the cash flow of the companies as they will be able to revise their estimates of tax payable to a lower amount at an earlier date. The government has extended the deadline of filing and payment. All SMEs are eligible for a 3-month automatic deferment of monthly tax installment payment and a 9-month automatic deferment for tourism industry, starting from April 2020. This measure is the cash flow burden of SME, so they have more cash flow to continue paying their employee, who in turn will have cash to spend on their daily necessities. As announced by the government, there is a 50% remission of penalty will be given for the late payment of sales tax and service tax due and payable. This measure is expected to allow the affected business to plan and strategize on the payment of sales tax and service tax due and prioritize the fund available for other more critical business requirements. In regards to employment-related measures, a wage subsidized program is introduced to further elevate affected employer cash flow during this pandemic and ensure that affected employees remain in employment. Under the program, employees with monthly income below 4,000 ringgit could receive a wage subsidized ranging 600 ringgit to 1,200 ringgit per month for 9 months, subject to a limit of 200 employees per company. The government has provided some financial support to the businesses, which include a special grant of 3,000 ringgit given to each qualifying micro SME. And the micro SME must register with the Malaysia Inland Revenue Board. This measure would provide affected micro SME with additional cash flow to cover their overhead costs. Due to the time constraint, I only able to explain these 5 tax measures. However, there are still much more tax initiatives introduced by the government. For more information, please have a look on our mind map.
Hi, I'm Ng Jing Yi. Next, I would like to present the 5 areas of effort that related to healthcare industry. According to the Malaysia Inland Revenue Board released a media report on 26 March 2020, the Ministry of Finance (MOF) has issued the guideline on the application of tax deduction for contribution to a charity or community project to fight against COVID-19. The publication of the guideline indicates MOF regards the initiative to combat COVID-19 pandemic as a charity or community project approved for tax deduction purpose. The donation to charity or community projects related to COVID-19 approved by MOF will be deducted from the donor total business income. Moreover, the governors will provide incentive in the form of tax deduction for those businesses that are affected by the implementation of Movement Control Order (MCO). The Prime Minister announced that the provided incentive are for the businesses which have taken on an increased operational cost from purchasing personal protective equipment and COVID-19 screening tests. The government also agreed to provide income tax rebate up to 20,000 ringgit Malaysia for 3 assessment years to the newly small and medium enterprise between 1st July 2020 and 31 December 2021. In line with the exemption given for face masks, the Director of the Royal Malaysian Customs Department has announced the import duty, excise duty, and sales tax exemption for ethyl alcohol, which is the material to the production of hand sanitizer. These exemptions are only given to the manufacturer which provide hand sanitizer and shall take effect from 30 March 2020 until further notice to be announced by the Royal Malaysian Customs Department. Besides that, the MOF has exempted certain types of face masks from import duty and sales tax exemption, which take effective from 33 March 2020. In a statement issued by the Royal Malaysian Customs Department, MOF has agreed for registered manufacturers to be exempted for charging in a sales tax on the face mask. The exemptions are in accordance with Section 14(2) of Customs Act 1967 and Section 35(3)(a) of Sales Tax Act 2018 and will be in place until further notice by MOF. Furthermore, Prime Minister announced an increase from 400 ringgit Malaysia to 600 ringgit Malaysia of the monthly allowance to frontliner comprising doctor, nurse, and health workers involved in managing and containing in COVID-19 injection. The allowance will be paid from 1st April 2020. He also added that where the frontliner were concerned, they could be given top priority and they would pay them whatever it could afford.
Thirdly, the tax incentive given by the government is able to help the businesses as well as the industry. In the short term, tax relief reduces employer stress in paying wages. For example, a company might not earn lots of profit during the pandemic, but with tax incentive, companies can allocate their funds more effectively and efficiently. Therefore, this helps to retain their employees. Furthermore, tax effort by government help companies to ease their cash flows. So, company can plan better for its operating costs and its capability for long-term growth. At the same time, they can mitigate short-term business risks. Plus, the tax relief can spur the economic growth where the company is able to plan its investment better. However, the tax effort is not able to help the industry in the long run. This is because the subsidy provided would run out in the future.
The COVID-19 will continue to 2021 as declared by many researchers. As a healthcare industry, certain improvements could be made. First, the healthcare industry could increase the usage of machines in production lines. Malaysia acts as the world's largest supplier of gloves to the United States, European Union, and Japan. Semi-auto production could increase the work opportunity for local workers. According to Research for Social Advancement (REFSA), this improvement could increase 50,000 work opportunities. Then, having e-healthcare. The COVID-19 has changed the living pattern for all citizens. Having e-healthcare can increase the efficiency and effectiveness of public healthcare system. For example, the waiting time could be reduced when a patient could order online and drive-through for taking the medicine. A video of an overview of e-health services in Estonia will be shown.
Meet 3 Estonian e-citizens, Lee, Martin, and their son, Hugo. While at school, Hugo accidentally broke his arm. The treatment he received can easily be seen by his mother through the patient portal. To enter the patient portal, Lee uses her digital identity, which is tied to her unique personal identification code. This is her doorway into the national health system, where healthcare providers gather medical data related to herself, her underage children, and her grandmother Viva, who has given her authorization. This way, Lee has an overview of everything related to Hugo's treatment, including doctor's description of the X-ray, as well as the list of prescribed medications. Estonian healthcare providers and people with authorization are allowed to access the medical data, though the patient can always revoke this right. Every query made about the patient is logged, which makes the system reliable and traceable.
Third, connect and collaborate with other organizations. Healthcare center can learn and cooperate with other organizations such as researching online or attending conferences and identifying what they can learn from others. Furthermore, think innovatively and implement changes when necessary. Healthcare centers should analyze and review their business model regularly and execute changes to stay competitive. For example, there is a need to implement changes during the pandemic of COVID-19. The administration workers could move to working from home while the manufacturing workers remain working at the site. These changes could be continued in order to reduce the infection. Lastly, reinvent business aggressively. Relocating resources and capital toward future business models such as investment in technology, which includes machine learning or artificial intelligence. It is believed that the artificial intelligence could assist the business in ease their job. The number of workers could be reduced as one worker could supervise for certain areas. In conclusion, the government has provided a lot of tax incentives in order to ease the burden of the industry. Nevertheless, the tax incentive might not be able to help in the long run. The government should focus on the investment of technology in order to increase the usage of machines.